Okay. Where do we begin? So, I guess I gotta start with welcome back to my channel. Um, I think I've been trying to maybe put off doing this video or basically deciding I didn't want to do this video. I didn't want to talk about this. I'm not doing this to get views. I'm not doing this to other than sort of peace of mind, because this is a soft episode of a show that I did a while ago. Things I suffer from, but yeah, I'm not the one that's really, well, yes, actually I'm still the one that's suffering, but I didn't suffer as bad as, you see the title, you know what I'm talking about. If you've gotten this far, we're talking about the big bad bug that's going around right now. And I lost my best friend, one of my best friends. And it's not been as hard on me as it has been on another one of my best friends, because the both of them, and I'm going to call them friend, what's a good word? Energetic. We'll say friend E. No, we'll just say friend A and friend B. Just keep it simple. But, yeah, so you have friend A and friend B. And so friend A is somebody that I've known, outside of my family. He is like the only person I've known for most of my life. We met in middle school. We rode the bus together in 6th grade, middle school, junior high, whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it in your country or wherever you're at, but we call it middle school. 6th grade, you're about 10 to 11 years old. We rode the bus together. Got a hair in my ear. And we weren't, so we rode the bus together, but we weren't really like friends at that point. I was like more friends of, like, one of his friends was in my class, and so I knew this one kid that rode the bus, and then he was friends with another friend, and would hang out. He had sort of his best friend, and then my best friend now, friend A, would kind of occasionally hang out with them, but he was also sort of on his own a lot. He tended to like go on his own. I don't know. How much am I going to say in this video about my friends? I don't want to say too much. Obviously, I don't want to give away a lot and any personal things, but that's, 6th grade is when we met, more or less, and then 7th grade's when we really like started hanging out, and then there was sort of a gradual like becoming more acquainted, more friendly, and eventually having a big group together and having a few classes together as well also helped. And it's after high school when he won't leave me alone, when he's got my number, he's calling me up on the landline phone. That's how old we are. Is, after high school, like, that's how old we are. I'm horrible, I know. Oh, you're not even that old. I'm older than you. I remember when we had rotary phones. I remember when we had the phones. You go like this and you go, because that's how y'all talked back in the day, right? I don't know. Yeah, like, so he called me after high school, and then we started hanging out. He started calling me out, and then eventually, a few years after high school, maybe it's been a long time since they've known each other, but a few years after high school, he goes to Barnes and Noble or a bookstore. I'm not sure if it's Barnes and Noble actually, but he goes to a bookstore. He's in a bookstore section, and he meets this older guy, and they just start getting into this conversation, and they just like, it's sort of like weird because he's almost, they're like on identical levels. And this best friend, friend A, and friend B, like friend B is like older. He's like 30 years older than us, and like is so he's 30 years older than us, but feels very much in some senses like younger than us. So he has like a youthful type of energy. He can go. He loves music. He goes to all kinds of concerts. He was unlike most older people. And I mean, it's really still shocking that what happened to friend B. Spoiler alert, I guess, or whatever. But it's friend B we're talking about, not friend A. Which, is like, I don't know. Anyways, so friend A becomes friends with him deeply because friend A has always felt sort of older, and he's always, even the way, like, with some of the stuff we would talk about is like, it would go over my head. I don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about economics, they're talking about politics and stuff. He and another friend in high school who I would hang out with, and I had PE together, physical education. We would hang out, and then they'd be talking about stuff that I had no concept of at that time. Like, nothing. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about is going over my head. It sounds adulty. I'm like, I'm not ready to adult yet. I am mostly music, movies, girls, trying to figure out how I can get a girl, and completely struggling at that, and like dreaming of making something, either music or movies, doing something with my life outside of high school. And so all that stuff was like, whatever they were talking about, I can't even exactly remember, but they were just constantly talking about adult stuff, adult type, adult type stuff. And so friend A's always felt sort of older. He even looked older. He had a growth spurt early, like he was already going through puberty in 6th grade. I always looked way younger. I still look way younger, I think, and I'm not trying to pride myself or whatever, anything, but like a lot of people always get my age wrong. I remember when I was 16, somebody was saying, "How old are you, 12?" I'm like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm able to drive. I'm not yet able and talented and able to get behind the wheel because my parents won't go and get me a driver's license and get me behind the wheel like I'd like to, and it's very expensive. So I'm like, okay, I'll just wait till I'm 18. But I could, at that point, at 16 years old, have gotten a permit and then gotten a license. So I'm a little mad at this person saying, "How old are you, 12?" But that's kind of how I looked. I looked maybe 12, 13. I didn't look 16. I didn't feel really 16 with a lot of the other 16-year-olds. And some look like adults already. And not this friend. Not at that point at 16 did he really look like an adult. But he definitely looked like a high schooler in 6th grade. Not a middle schooler. So he like, eventually we would catch up to him. But he was already dealing with all that, and then I think he also has feelings of just knowing things that a lot of us kids didn't, and that's where their connection happened. And I don't want to say too much about that, but they just had a deep, really, really deep connection, hung out all the time, And so it's pretty much friend A's family gets sick with the big bad bug that's going around. And I don't know for sure, and I honestly don't want to say or whatever, but you know, friend B also gets sick. So did they go and hang out together? I honestly am scared to ask. I don't know, if that's what's weighing on my, on friend A. And I hope that, and it's like, you didn't necessarily know. And I don't know. I know friend A didn't want to get vaccinated. I was fortunate, I have two kids. I have, two kids. I'm like, I'm not playing around with this. I'm going to get vaccinated. I'm not going to be stupid like these people that are coming up with all this drama, all this foolishness, all this, like, who are just constantly, who are questioning science without actually reading it. Like, I don't know necessarily, I'm not a vaccinologist or whatever. Like, I don't know if these companies really have our best interests at heart, but by all accounts, it seemed like the people that were like trying to say the truth, it was like, in some senses, a lot of the science that I was constantly trying to keep up with was feeling legitimate. At times, though, they were people saying things, they were jumping the gun. It was constantly changing, and it made sense that it was constantly changing because this was a novel disease. This was a new big bad bug. It wasn't something that we've seen before. It's you think of the HIV crisis. That's something that wasn't expected. Nobody had seen before. A lot of people didn't know how to deal with it. Having, grown up in that, as a kid in that era, or post that era, it makes perfect sense why there's like this sort of like confusion, this absolute confusion about, the science and scientists not necessarily knowing, are masks effective or are they not effective? It's like, it makes absolute sense. Cover your mouth and your nose is always what I was told when you got sick, when you were sick or you sneezed. It made perfect sense. It actually makes much more sense, like now, like in retrospect, like, and it really seems kind of stupid when we were getting sick all the time that we weren't wearing masks, that we weren't protecting other people from our disease. Like, we were kind of just spreading it and killing people time and time again. And that's one of the things that we have to work on and fix. And that's why, and at the same time, I did have, hesitancy from, hearing the anti-vax stories about the flu shot and getting sick. And I had a bad flu, and I had a really bad flu, unlike any I've ever had before, in January. I want to say January of 2020, last year. And I can't say for sure, but I also kind of have an inkling that I didn't just get a flu. I got the big bad flu that, that some people are saying that they probably got prior to March when everything shut down. I don't know. I didn't know if there was a place that I could go get the antibody tests, and it didn't feel like there was an effectiveness with the antibody testing that was going on, but who knows? What illness did I get? Because it was unlike any other flu that I've had before. And I'm not a scientist, but I feel, and I didn't lose taste, so I can't confirm that. Like, but I had many of the symptoms, and it was a real bad flu. And they're saying, oh, that there was a real bad flu, but I mean, this big bad bug, this novel virus, was initially thought of as a weird flu, a new flu, or a deadly flu. And then they discovered that, oh, it's not a flu, it's a SARS. It's a coronavirus. And then, they came up with a name. And all the idiots came out and they're like, well, it's the 19th version. I mean, there was just so much stupidity being spread by so many people that it was pretty clearly obvious. Pretty obvious. To me, at least at the time, like, that the vaccine was okay. That it was going to be okay. That this isn't just some grand experimentation going on. Like, there is, in some senses, experimentation happening. Absolutely. Every single medication, every single treatment is honestly an experiment on you. And whether it's going to be effective and how effective, like, the experimentation is happening. But, I don't want to take a risk. So, two things. Number one, I prayed about it, making sure that the vaccine would protect me. And number two, I looked at the data. I looked at the science. I tried to read as much as I possibly could and what I could understand and try to, like, get as much information as possible before I did it. And so I'm not going to say that I know absolutely the truth. Only God knows the truth. And, but it's like the people that are running around saying that God is like, that they believe in God are the ones that don't even understand what God has made and our bodies and all of the stuff that's happening. They're just gaslighting the world in this delusional type of thinking. So it's pretty clear, and it's pretty, the former president got himself and his family vaccinated prior to me getting vaccinated. So, like, it's already, like, been proven. Like, at least, whatever they're saying, all of the BS that they're putting out there, all the fake news that they're putting out there, it's pretty clear. So I got vaccinated, and I honestly didn't know how to have the conversation to encourage all of my friends and family to get vaccinated. And the easiest part, at least with my family, was like that for the most part we were all cool with it. For the most part. I don't know with one particular person in my family for sure, but that person has said that they are vaccinated, but they're also questionable. So, like, I trust, I'm trying to trust, on some level, but at the same time, I don't really know for sure. I can't confirm anybody who says that they're vaccinated or vaccinated, and anybody who says that they're not vaccinated or not vaccinated, because you could easily get vaccinated and then go out there and pretend that you're unvaccinated and be an anti-vaxxer or whatever. But, like, the sad thing is, like, I wish I could go back and also have the knowledge of how to encourage people. But you can't just tell them, because they're reading these stupid Facebook posts. They're hearing all this stupid information. They're not reading the stuff that I'm trying to read. They're not getting, it's just a crazy time, and it's their choice at the end of the day. And so, like, I don't, it's tough, because now I no longer have someone in my life who was in my wedding. And the world just sucks, and it just keeps sucking, and so you're like, but I know all this, so I'm not completely like daunted or lost, I don't think. Like, but I don't know for sure what the future's gonna hold and how my brain is going to hold together. But for the most part, I think I go back to when I was in 8th grade and my grandpa passed away. One of my grandpas passed away, and I was sort of a little shaken, a little, like, a little like, you know, numb, or like couldn't really like fully like couldn't like believe it or process it or whatever. But then like a song, an Ozzy Osbourne song came on the radio, that I had heard like a few times, I think. As I'm listening to some music after the information comes out, and I'm hearing my siblings crying, and seeing their reactions, and then being like sort of like having this kind of confused feeling, like not really, like not really like feeling it, because you don't see it. So then it's like, I think for some people, because you're not seeing it, seeing is believing kind of thing. It's like, and this is a grandpa who's in a different state, so being able to see him is probably once a year, and at that point it probably been like over a year or more since I'd last seen him. And I got to go visit him for like a month one summer after 5th grade. So that's a few years before that. And then of course he came to visit once. I don't think we got to go and visit them before that. So it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind too, that I think helped me a little bit. But then also this song came on the radio, and it says, the song says, I'll see you on the other side. And so I'm just, in my head at that point, I don't really know what I believe, but like there's a heaven, or there's like a heaven and God and stuff, right? I'm not like a religious person at that point. I am now, but I'm, like, just, it is, like, this is kind of part of life, right? I'm already, like, I already kind of understand. It's 8th grade. I'm not that young. I'm not that sort of naive or whatever. So I kind of understand. And I've heard this song before. So now I'm making the connection and understanding the meaning behind the song. And then the song's meaning is now is helping me add meaning to this situation that's happening right now. And it's helping me cope and just, yeah, I'll see him on the other side. Like, I will see him again. I don't know now. Like, it's like questionable, but he, like, it's really left up to God on whether or not either of us will see each other again, or either of us will be on the other side. Like, it's really up to God. And I leave it to him. And and I don't want this to, whatever. Like, I'm more of like, no, if you're feeling like as like an atheist or agnostic or whatever, that I'm getting into stuff and you want to debate me, you're wrong. Or no, I'm just kidding. You're welcome to your feelings. You're welcome to your thoughts as well. If you've made it to this point, then you're good. You're good. You're gonna be saved. I don't know. But God bless you. Godspeed. Because you definitely believe in those things. But that's, I also like to, I think humor really can help, and sort of, entertaining yourself, and time will heal. Like, time is going to scar the wound. Like, the wound's gonna turn into a scar eventually, and it'll still be there. Like, it's never gonna go away. So you just kind of have to, like, you kind of just have to accept that. And the sooner you accept that, it's easier. And that's like I'm not, I'm not trying to like downplay your feelings or anything like that. And it's kind of my personal privilege, I guess, that it's like death has sort of been easier. I don't know, and I like sort of morbid jokes and stuff, so I sort of already deal with death and accept death and understand that death is absolutely a part of life, just as like a bunch of tragedies. So I'm not really like, I try not to be surprised by things. I am still like a human being and not anticipating specific things. And I also don't expect the unexpected. You can't expect the unexpected. It's such a stupid saying, but I mean, you should expect the expected. Expect certain things to happen, and sort of be prepared and build up yourself to be like, build up an immune system to specific things that could happen in your life, that could happen to those around you, so that you're sort of aware. And and it also, I guess, helps that he friend B got sick and was in the hospital, but was in the hospital for like a month and was on eventually had to go on a ventilator, because he had the pneumonia that comes with, for certain people, that comes with this big bad bug. And then we're like, friend A is telling everybody, keeping everybody posted about what's happening, and trying to keep everybody, telling everybody to keep him in your prayers. And then there seemed to be some positive, and then eventually it was complete negative. Everything turned for the worst, and so then friend A is just devastated because it's turning to the worst, and he's pissed off, and he's starting to he's having a falling out with the family, all that stuff. Like, and so it's just like, it sucks, but that's the kind of life. And so the hard part now is like, I'm a little, I'm worried about my friend and his feelings, and I want to be there for him as much as I can. At the same time, it's still scary disease and stuff, and so we don't want to take a risk. So like, trying to hang out with each other is difficult right now. And he did get himself vaccinated finally. Get yourself vaccinated. I don't think I can offend a lot of people, because if you've made it this far, then you're sort of on the journey. You're going along for the ride. You're ride or die, or whatever. Hopefully, and you're hitting that. Nah, you don't have to hit the subscribe button or do all that stuff, because this is not that video. This is just me venting and letting my feelings out. And so, yeah, so you want to take care of your friends. You want to be there for them, and you want to help them as much as you can. And then you also have to take care of yourself, and so it's difficult. And then you don't want to invalidate their feelings. That's kind of where I'm struggling right now. It's like, I don't tell them things like, no, this is how you should feel, or this is that, and I don't know necessarily, and I don't, like, it's a struggle, because you don't know if, like, oh yeah, I totally, I get what you're saying, like, that's gonna get played out and old, and there's only so many ways that you can say that. So it's like, how do you respond to somebody who's dealing with loss in the, like, seemingly in the worst possible way, That's the big question. You're free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments down below, I guess. Some people are already jumping the gun on that, possibly, if anybody's watching this. And I don't anticipate anybody to watch this. So that's what it is. And I think this was necessary to, like, before I put out any other video, this was much more a necessity than, like, talking about anything else outside of myself. Because this is out now. Right? I feel great. Friend B. I wish we got to hang out like one last time this year before. And the worst part of it is he just retired. That's life. That's what all the people say. That's life. All the cliches come out today. That's life. And is Jesus just gonna get you anyway? Any day. Unless you're fortunate and you get like a cool accident or like you get like injured or M-worded. What's the coolest way to die? That is a great question. Let me know in the comments down below so I know that you've made it this far into this long overdue long video. I'm Horrible, I know, and I probably am gonna make another one of these because I suffer from a lot of things. So this is life. 'Tis life. And I'm not really like suffering, but I am suffering. Like I'm trying to fight the suffering, but it's, life is not easy, and that's it. So I hope that you're able to fight your suffering too, and to find some solace and some silver linings, and to receive some good stuff, lots of good stuff in your life, and to be also able to look at all the positives. Try to focus on the positives because there's a lot of negatives, and also, keep the negatives as neutral, and, don't make them as negative as they are. Like negatives don't have to be like bad or dark or whatever. They can kind of be just, they just exist, and they're not great, but they're not horrible. Does that count as a plug for this stupid YouTube channel that I got here? I hope not. Or am I horrible like that? I don't know. This video should have ended a long time ago, but I don't have to end it at all, honestly. I don't want to end it. I don't want to edit this at all either. I'm just going to post this. These videos need to just be unedited and unfiltered and raw, definitely. So if there's one of these in the future, then that's how it's going to be, just because I don't want to have to do a bunch of work and have to re-listen to all these thoughts. I just want to let them out there, and whoever wants to hear them hears them. And hopefully, people can find some positive in everything I'm talking about, and can find something to, help them think and help them feel better and help them understand things. And, also vent if you need to vent in the comments. Find people that you can help, and that people that can help you, and even when you lose, I feel even when you lose like the best of friends, there's always somebody out there, that's not going to replace them, but there's still people out there. There's lots of people out there that are still good people and still could be your best friends. Because Friend A, I never thought about it, but I don't think, well, Friend A and Friend B, I don't know if I had the full choice, I don't think that, I really would have. I mean, honestly, if you go back, I don't know how to say this or word this, but basically I wouldn't have chosen Friend A and Friend B at certain points, especially in my youth as friends, or expected them to be my friends when I'm an adult. I'm not really trying to hang out with older people, but Friend B turned out to be one of the most wonderful people ever, and never at any point did he feel like he's got age on us, except for like when he would talk about maybe stuff in his youth or whatever. But never. Or when he, not even like he had a heart issue, a few years ago, and a knee issue too. That's right. But I have knee issues, and I'm probably gonna have heart issues at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens in my not, my current youth-ish state. So that's life. That's what other people say. Okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye.